OGs in Europe, take 2.
I'm ballin', I'm ballin', I'm ballin', I'm ballin', I'm ballin'. I'ma go hard, I'ma go in, I'ma ball out, I'ma get lit. Been a long road.
All right, so man, I appreciate y'all for stopping by another episode of OGs in Europe. Hey yo, the ELFPA. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Initial thoughts, man, because I know for me, I always hear about people talking about, wanting to start a union out here in Europe. And, I was like one of those guys at first saying, like, yeah, it's needed, but it's going to be hard to do. And I never thought it would transpire. But Lord behold, we have it. All right, so, like, what you guys' initial thoughts on this?
I love the idea. A lot of these guys ain't got the knowledge or the experience to be able to represent themselves when stuff go bad with the organization, or they don't really understand the law behind everything with the contracts and stuff like that. So I think for that reason alone, it's a good idea because a lot of guys are going into situations and they're not protected.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that because, man, it's been a lot of things that's been going on, and like in the last episode we was talking about experiences and stuff like that. But moving forward though, like is the ELFPA, like, is it, because like this is something that just sprung up today. I just saw it in the articles, or it might have been yesterday. But like, is this something that's sanctioned? Is it legal, or is it just a group of people that's doing this? Because like I'm out the loop on this one. I wish I was been in the loop because I'm an OG out here. And some the things that all the OGs was talking about before, but what's going on? I mean, I know you know a little something about.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to be on the initial call where they got the players together and introduced it to us and kind of went down PowerPoint presentation. I think the call was maybe around an hour and a half. Lots of questions, lots of situations. And from my understanding, they want to work directly with the ELF. But at the moment, I think it's more of an individual thing. And they're kind of presenting the idea to the ELF. Which I think is a great idea. So hopefully the ELF buys in and want to cooperate because that makes it better for the players.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea. Something that should have, if it was, I don't know.
Good idea, man. It is.
Nah, it's definitely a great idea, but my thing is like implementing it. How are they going to do that? Especially when you have these teams in different countries. Like the laws is different in every country. So like now, like I think the lawyer, I read the lawyer is a Swiss lawyer. So okay, maybe he knows Swiss, maybe he knows German law, but does he know Polish law? Does he know Spanish law?
But isn't it more than just knowing like the language and the law? Like is it just like in the in the United States where you have to go and do the bar for each one of those states? Is it like that here as well? Or is like Switzerland exempt because Switzerland is like a neutral place for like, that's where everybody got their money at.
Yeah.
So
I understand that. I'm just thinking like,
and also like in Switzerland, like that's the head of the IOC, the Olympic Doping Committee, is out there in which country is it? I mean, what city? I'm not sure. I don't remember what city, but it's definitely in Switzerland.
I think IFAF is too.
Yeah, so there must be something going on with that. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging on that. All right, but like, it's like my feelings on the ELFPA. It's like there's so much stuff that goes into it. Like in the NFL, right? You have the Players Association, but every year people pay their dues, right? So like if you have any situation, anything that happens where all right, you need a lawyer, you need some representation, all right, you go holler at the NFLPA, they'll take care of you. All right, so like those dues now, like I'm not sure, like I wasn't on the call, but did they talk about anything like that? Where
yeah, for sure. I think right now they're selective, but they are accepting people right now for no cost. But I think at some point, I'm not sure how far into the future, it wasn't stated, but then it will be like a fee to be
like how much because
it can't,
people ain't getting paid
exactly. So I mean, but they mentioned that because they understand that we don't get paid, so it's gonna be within reason of what guys have. So
all right, like is that based off of like what I'm saying? I mean because right, I know there's a salary cap right now, right? But like is the salary cap there so to keep certain clubs from getting more because maybe their sponsorship or they put more money into the team, or is it there because like teams just don't have that much money?
Well, from my understanding, I had the opportunity to talk to Azuma. We ran into each other in Germany. And
I mean, this is for anybody. Anybody answer the question. It's a
yeah.
conversation.
No, but the thing that came directly out of his mouth is the salary cap was in place so that teams are not bidding for players. Like, you paying this guy this much money, and you going over here and you getting 3 times the amount of money. So then it's this situation. Then it's like, oh, now this team come out of nowhere. Hey, I'll give you this type of money. So it just makes the whole process of developing a team like more business going on, but more dirty business going on too. Because if you're paying one player more money, then that's money that could be going to another player.
Like how you regulate that though?
I don't know. It's just for teams to negotiate good contracts and be ethical with it. Because at the end of the day, you don't really know, dog.
That shit crazy, man. Because I know, man, we was talking about this just like even last year. Talib Wise. For those who don't know who Talib Wise is, had a good football career out here in Europe. Played for Swarco. Who else he played for?
I'm not sure.
Talib was
But
balling.
yeah, I definitely seen his highlights before.
But definitely he was playing out there. A few other teams, but got into coaching. Now down there in Warszawa, helping Warsaw Eagles out. But like he was talking about it. I know Elu. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about it. BC Brandon Collier with PPI, and so like these are all things that we always talked about, and just wasn't able to come together. So I guess my next question is, could have any other group of guys from any other league maybe accomplish this, like get that going with their respective leagues? So like in the GFL, could there be a players association in GFL?
It can be, yeah, for sure.
I mean, but like if it could be, like why haven't it? I
mean, you got to think about who is the idea going to come from? Who's going to introduce that to the GFL? Like, what person is going to be the first one to start this? Like,
I mean, just like the people here, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
like something happened.
Exactly. But now we're on a different level. We're a little bit more years ahead now. The GFL is in a different situation. The ELF is the new professional league where at one day everyone is going to be making somewhat of a living from this.
All right, so like I don't know the history of the NFL and nothing like that, but I'm just trying to figure out like, because like and we still gonna continue the conversation because I still want to know much more about it, like the all the details, like not every detail but a little bit more. But like in the NFL, like when the NFL first started out, did they have a players association? I
don't believe so.
Right, so I know times have changed and the situation is different. You got social media and all that stuff, but is it too fast? Is it too fast not to form this, but like to be making demands? And I'm not sure if they're making demands or not.
I mean, I think the idea is there, which is nothing's wrong with the idea being there. I think you just got to figure out because you have to figure out some type of way to get all the players involved in it. Is it just going to include the import players? Is it going to include the national players? And if you have players that are not part of it, you got to have some type of unity to make it work. And that now there's not unity just in the league. I mean, it is one league, but it's unity between these countries. Mm-hmm. So
all right. So let's say, everybody agree to pay their dues, right? So there's some money flow going in there. Now, do everybody pay the same amount of dues? Like I should have hit up my boy Quiz and asked him about how does that work? Is there a tier level? Like, if someone who's getting like max out contract, do they have to play, or does a rookie who's getting a rookie contract have to pay the same amount of dues? Like, because like what I'm trying to get at is out here is like some guys gonna be, cool, like, oh man, that little bit of money, oh, let me go ahead and throw that out. But if you from somebody who's specific, some teams out here is not paying their players that much. You know what I mean? So it's like, dang.
I mean,
it's denting in it, and I know if you want to see something go through, you support it and you do what you got to do. But like, what I'm saying, like, how can we do this without it being? Because like, how can you keep that unity when my brother, only making like $600 a month, and my man's over here making 18? He can do it at 200 euro, a year or something like this for the dudes. It's like, how can?
I mean, right now, I guess that information is to be determined or to be released, because I'm not quite sure what that exact number is.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that if guys don't want to pay and they believe in it, they have an opportunity to be a part of it now as well. So you can get in now. I mean, you want all players to be a part of it, but it gets to a point where, you know, they're starting it. They're giving people opportunity to get involved right now, or you can wait. Like I may be one of those guys who watch it for a little bit. You know, I support it. You know, I'm not against speaking on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so many variables that I don't know yet before I sign my name in something. But I'm interested in learning more information about it.
All right, so right now it's just talks. There's no members in the board or anything.
No,
like
it's
that?
definitely members. It's already members.
Oh, like a president. Like, is there a website or anything?
I'm not.
Let me check out the website.
I think maybe it is.
Try to find a website or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at something today, but I couldn't find out.
Yeah.
Cause like when I first saw it, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, man, who? Switzerland. I was like, who is these people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who is it? Like, I was looking for names, looking down the, looking at the whole, article, looking for the names. But, I guess they wanted some,
I mean, the thing is,
anonymous and be.
Yeah, I mean, because they want the players to be the face of it. I'm pretty sure that if a situation came up and you can't hide at that point, you know what I'm saying? You would have to come out of the dark. So you'll eventually know who the guys are. I'm still learning about the guys. So, like I said, for me, it's a situation where I love the idea, I support it, the idea of it and what they're trying to do. But it's so much I still need to know first, before I put my name on it.
Do you think the ELF is gonna listen? Like, you think they eventually are they gonna work together?
Look, at first I thought, I was like, all right, if they don't have any players in it, because it just says Switzerland. So if there was no players that was playing in the actual league in that association, then it wasn't going to work in my opinion, obviously. But like I'm glad that there's guys that's they banded together and do that. But I wish, like, how where did this information pass at? Because that was something that I probably wanted to be on the call in.
For sure.
Too. Like, were there any other OGs out there that understand the system? Because you got a lot of credible guys, and I just named a few earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I think they gotta listen. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
do they gotta? Look, I don't know. It's a lot of people who trying to get out to ELF. ELF could just say, man.
This is my thought. Like,
man,
it could.
Like,
hey, look.
Like, do they have to listen? Like,
look, I know Frankfurt has to listen because with all the accusations with them,
right.
And then ELF have to deal with that specific situation.
Right,
but as far as like players right now, because like right now, you know what I'm saying, it's like on the outside looking in, it may look like, all right, we only hear about one or two teams, right? Like, all right, we hear about Frankfurt's situation, and I know you guys, you said something about on the call there was more complaints, you know what I'm saying, going on.
Yeah, from a couple more
teams.
Couple more teams.
But like the main things that was public was Frankfurt, and I think the situation with Stuttgart. All right, and I think that was handled well. We talked about that before
With the quarterback.
Yeah. So like, I'm just saying, it's like the league is not making money like that yet, or at least I don't know. But like, is it sustainable when it's like the clubs, like the club is at fault for it, anything that happens, it's really the club's fault. It's not the league's fault.
Absolutely, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So like, I'm just saying it's like it's kind of hard to sustain when a lot of those situations don't happen. I think every year those teams are going to be weeded out. So you have the best organizations in all Europe coming in. You got Swerkel coming in, right? So they live, their team up to a standard, and there's other teams that's already in here that was good organizations before they came. So it's like, how can you sustain, as a player, and you saying I got to put these dudes in, and you might be a star player, like, man, I don't have no problems, because I know there's a lot of guys that haven't been speaking up, like in Frankfurt. Like the quarterback haven't spoken up, and I think he was living in that same house, and the league MVP. So it's like, I know other people, people have their own way of doing things. But what I'm saying is, like, if you the man, right? You know what I'm saying? You did your thing this year. You the man. you can make demands next year for certain teams.
For sure.
Especially at certain positions if you was a
and I think that's the ultimate goal. To touch on how it can be sustainable is the ELF open arms, really, and saying, hey, let's work together.
But
let's
also,
figure out a way. Because ultimately,
but the ELF is gonna say, like, why the ELF is like, why y'all talking? I mean, I understand why y'all talking to me about this, but this is one situation with. I agree
with this as well.
Like,
you do have these different, these different things to it. It just depends on how do you want to improve. Like, do you want to improve? Because the player's opinion is valuable. And I said this earlier. I even said it in the interview that I did with the ELF. I said I think it'd be really great if it was some type of players union. Like I said it in the interview. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I think it's good for them to even communicate back and forth, see how to better the league. Before you start doing all these changes, just consult with the players to get different opinions, because we are the ones playing. Like, the season next year is going to be longer, of course, with the new teams joining and stuff like that. So is it going to keep getting extended, even more games? Or are we going to end up playing 16 games? So at that point, it's like, that could be valuable for the ELF, but they don't have to do it.
Right.
They don't have to do it, but I think it will be good if they did that. And, of course, taking care of players and holding, teams accountable, whether it's fines. I don't really know what it is. Maybe they already, implemented that stuff, but something to hold them accountable, because at the end of the day, like, people are coming all across the waters, import players specifically from the U.S., and some guys have something to go back to, but some don't. So at least while they out here, they know they're protected.
Man, I mean, yeah, like if they get it going and they develop a relationship, or they sign on sign over an agreement. But I'm just I'm optimistic about it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something I wanted to see for a while. But I'm just trying to just think about, like, it's right now the right time. I'm not saying it isn't. You know what I mean? Why not though? Why not? I'm not saying it isn't, but I was just saying, like, without even knowing much about it like that, just the article I seen, I was just wanted some more information. I wanted to just chop it up.
I guess this is what I would add to it, is that I guess it's gonna all depend on when situations arise and how they're handled. At this point,
of who?
When situations arise, because now you have this group, because guys are a part of it already. Now, if or when situations arise, now let's sit back and see what happens. Like, what is the process like?
You talking about, like, situations where, like, Frankfurt?
Yeah, say something like this happened. Now we get to see what it's really made of. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, I think that's going to take, like, not only the league, but they're going to have to sit down with all these managers of the teams. Like, it has to be more than just ELF front office and Players Association. You got to have these other guys involved, knowing that they're going to, it got to be they got to be held responsible for this type of stuff.
I mean, and I'm just thinking, it's like, just like you guys said, like, all right, but the ELF can or cannot talk to them depending on how they want to. I mean, there's clubs here that's in this league where kind of like, you need them now for this league. They've been here the first year. You can see the numbers and on like, the insights, like the views and things like that. Like, what if owners are like, look, I don't want to deal with no players like that. Like, I'm cool. I don't want to have to put no extra money into like this. Like,
it's definitely a possibility.
And then, like, because there could be certain teams that say, or teams banding together. Like, owners, they say, look, hey, I don't want to deal with that. Like, so, like, what's the middle ground? Like, how can we get it going to where, like in the article, one thing I did like about it is, like, they're not attacking or making any of those type of demands like they do in the NFL. So it's not like that, but they just trying to work together. But it's like, is that the the solution for right now? Just, being in a room like we are right now and just having a conversation with who they having a conversation with assuming about the living situations in Frankfurt, or is it about everything? Is this about a specific thing, that they trying to start first?
Yeah, I think it's more well-rounded, like everything, like contract negotiations for people who don't really know what they're getting into. Of course, representation when it's needed. I mean, we're talking about lawyers, so they can represent you, and just understanding when situations do happen, you got some type of education about like how to go about the process, like what you should do, like who you should talk to, like with the hospital and injuries and stuff. You know, you kind of got to understand you're not relying on somebody to do everything for you.
Are we opening up a Pandora's box though? It's like, all right, now once, cause you know, like I just want everybody who getting their money to keep all their money, right? You know what I'm saying? As much as they can. So like, open up a Pandora's box. You know, you got now you got lawyers and stuff involved, right? You know what I'm saying? Dealing with you know, guys who may or may not be incompetent about or as knowledgeable about certain things. So like now is it you know, league on a mandate that you have agents representing you like in these situations to deal with contracts now, like you know what I'm saying, like what's the next thing?
I mean, like you said, organizations, they have the choice to deal with it or not deal with it, number one. Number two, it depends on the type of lawyer and their intentions, and you know how they gonna represent the players, and when they're communicating, how they communicate, it's gonna be up to them and their demeanor and how they approach it as well. Like if the ELF say, oh, okay, I actually like that, you know, because I'm sure they're not so resentful towards the idea of it, because it's been said that it's something that they would definitely be interested in. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know,
it just depends on, no, for sure. I'm just
talking, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I must be really honest, like I think the ELF is going to listen to them. Why wouldn't they? It's the first year league. You know what I mean? They don't have all the answers. The players don't have all the answers. This is a new experience for everybody. But you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to get all those thoughts out there. You know, and you know, maybe some people are thinking about this or not. But you know, I'm glad that it's finally happening, a union. But I just wish that it was something that can, you know, be for the entire, you know, European football, American football paradigm.
I mean, last thing I'm gonna say, lawyers cost money. Sometimes a lot of money, and I'm just saying, like, I don't know if the players necessarily make enough money to be able to pay these lawyers to compete against these teams that have money.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it is.
They can just drag, you know, the teams can pay money to their lawyers, may have lawyers on retainer already. They can just drag this process out to their lawyer run out of money and now the case is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
valid point.
Like,
I thought of this anyways.
Yeah, like the like, unless the lawyers just said, but still there's like court fees, there's all type of fees and
transportation to get to places, everything.
Exactly, like,
you know, I know in some countries, like, you know, if the contract is not binded by law, you know, notarized by like a official, like it's not, you know, it's void. So like a lot of these teams, not saying in the ELF, but like in Europe in general, some teams will just go on Word document, put something here and just say, you know, this is a contract.
right.
But I think it should just be labeled as an agreement.
Yeah, because
right?
half of the contract is not worth the paper they're
Exactly.
written on out.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
so like they just, you know, say this, and even in the agreement, it's like it's just saying like this is what we do, and we're gonna try to keep our word. So like that's what I'm saying. So like, you know, like you said, you got to pay. You got gas fees and like lawyers and stuff like that. And man, you know, it's a good idea. That's why I say right now it should be like working together organically. You know, the league should involve you know, some representation with these guys and have them a seat at the table so they can have a voice. And I think we should start there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of not making, because like once you come eat with me, you know what I'm saying? Now I have a little bit different, more respect for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're not coming in trying to get in my pockets. You just trying to, you know what I'm saying, help learn and help the shit grow and help the machine keep going.
For sure.
And I think that would be my first move, just give them a seat at the table and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I think that's it right there.
Yeah, don't have me though. Go get you a lawyer. Huh? I ain't with that.
Nah, I just think, like, even if it doesn't get to the point of lawyers and everything, you have, let's just say, a couple of players from each team that sits down, meet with the league, meet with, you know, the owners of the teams and everything.
All right, so you talking about
That's what I think. That's
like
what I think
a
as well.
player's
so
board,
like a player's board for a team.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's separated in two parts. You got the board of directors and you got the general assembly.
Right.
So it will be votes taking place. Former players can also be a part of it, but they don't have a vote. Only active players have a vote.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as that, I'm hoping that's, you know, the plan.
Right.
I've only been on that one introductory call, so outside of that, I'm outside the loop. But I'm hoping that's how it's supposed to be.
Well, it is what it is, man. But I know I wish I would have had that back in the day when, you know what I'm saying, I got...
You don't want to tell them about your situation?
I talked about it the last episode.
Okay,
I talked about it. Yeah, man. But I ain't talk about the one time where, you know what I'm saying, I was out in Switzerland and, man, them owners, man, came to the house to fight our American import. He was a quarterback.
Damn.
Yeah, he came over there and fought him. Like, sucker punched him too, dog. Crazy, man. Crazy. We're going to get into story time one day, but, yeah. Hey, but man, that's what it is, man. You know, like I said, hold on, I got these new things going on. Hey,
do the outro with them shits.
Do the outro. Hey, you know what I mean? Hey, look. Hey, congratulations to everybody that was involved in the call. Got D-Rob over there. Got everybody. All right, so look. Hey, ELF, you guys did a good thing. But now let's get it back. Let's get this shit going. All right? So congratulations on the ELFPA. Y'all doing y'all thing. Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right.
All right, stop the cameras.